to clarify something before the video started. I had a brain fart in filming the video and stated that Virginia Beach is the 11th most populous city in the continental United States. I just wanted to clarify that. It's actually the 41st most populous city in the country.
Hey YouTube, it's motomattman. Today I'm out for a ride, first time with new tread on the back of the bike. I'm out on the VFR. It's kind of windy, so normally I would probably be on the Sporty, but for two reasons I'm on the VFR today. I mean, I might have been on the Maxim too, the Yamaha, but I have two reasons for being on the VFR. One is because I need to scuff up this new rear tire, but the other one has to do with the topic that I have for today. And that topic has to do with where I call home. Now, most of you know that I live in Northeast Ohio, and I like it here, it's okay, but that's not home. There are three places that I've lived that could possibly classify as home. And these are the three places that made me. And those three places are Southern Maryland, more specifically Charles County, Maryland. And that's where I lived as a kid. That's where I finished up elementary school. That's where I went to middle school. That's where I started high school. That's where I really learned how to ride a dirt bike. That's where I got my driver's license and played Little League and Pee-wee football and all of that kind of stuff. And Charles County is grown quite a bit from what it was. It used to be very, very, very rural. Okay? And now it's a little bit more populous than what it was. Well, actually, it's a lot more populous than what it was. I mean, but it used to be tobacco farming. And even though it's in Maryland, Southern Maryland, Charles County, Prince George's County, are actually very southern. Like Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, southern. Southern in the way that people talk, the things they do, the foods they eat, and so forth. Very southern. You know, it used to be that the main industry there was tobacco farming. Then we left there and we moved to Rhode Island, and we lived on Aquidneck Island, which is a little island out in Narragansett Bay that has Portsmouth, Middletown, and Newport on it. All pretty much big town, little bitty city, you know, 18,000 people kind of thing. Not very big. And that's where I graduated from high school. That's where I learned about living at the beach and all the things that go along with that. That's where I learned to work on cars and build hot rods. Both of those two places, I have a lot of good friends, made awesome friends. People that I'm still in touch with, like specifically through like Facebook and whatnot, still to this day. And then we left there and we moved to Virginia Beach. And Virginia Beach is where I call home today. That's, for me, that's home. If I tell somebody that I'm going home, I'm going to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is where I turned 21, came to the drinking age. That's where I became the motorcycle rider that I am today, on the street, you know, riding on the street. I have a video where I talk about a story from Virginia Beach. And because of that, that's why I'm on the VFR today, because I identified my life in Virginia Beach specifically with like sport bikes. Living in Virginia Beach, There were a couple of years where the only form of transportation that I had year-round was a motorcycle. Now, it is the southernmost point you could be on the East Coast in Virginia. So summers are hot, summers are long, but trust me, it does get cold there. I mean, it snows. They don't get a whole lot. They get about 6 inches of snow a year, but it does get cold there. So you do freeze your butt off on a motorcycle in the wintertime. But I bring this whole thing up about where I'm from because on the 31st of May, I took my wife and daughters to a minor league baseball game here in Northeast Ohio. And while standing in line at the concession stand, my phone started blowing up. I started getting text messages. I started getting messages on social media. I started getting messages through news organization apps like CNN and Fox News and Wavy 10 out of Virginia Beach, and even the local news, Channel 5 News here in Northeast Ohio, about a mass shooting in Virginia Beach. And while it's been a couple of weeks since it happened, I didn't feel the right time to actually talk about it or address it. And I figure now is the time. And there are a few things I want to talk about. Number one, Virginia Beach is not what a lot of people think Virginia Beach is. Most people, when they think of Virginia Beach, they think of places like Ocean City, Maryland, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They're all the same thing, just in different places. They're these little towns that have this big population explosion in the summertime, and they become like cities, and then Labor Day rolls around and everybody goes home to where they live. Well, that's pretty much is the truth when you're talking about Myrtle Beach and Ocean City, Maryland. That's not the case with Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach is a city, not some little small beach town. Virginia Beach is actually, by population, the largest city in the state of Virginia. It also, I believe, is the 11th largest. Now, hear me out. The 11th largest city in the continental United States. So it's not a little bitty beach town. And it's got about 500,000 people according to the census, to the 2010 census. Now, here's something that you got to keep in mind with Virginia Beach as opposed to other cities in the census. When it comes to Virginia Beach, the census doesn't tell the whole story, because the census doesn't count the military personnel that live within the city limits. Because if you're in the Navy, your home, your residence where you're counted, the place that you're counted is where you call home. And most of the time, where those people call home is usually where they lived when they enlisted. So if you live in Commerce, Texas, and you enlist in the Navy, while you're living in Virginia Beach, you're counted in the Commerce, Texas census, not the Virginia Beach census. So when you add the military, Virginia Beach has about 1 million residents year-round. But that's not what makes it the 11th most populous city in the continental United States, or the largest city in the state. Just the census population does. But just bear in mind that the city is actually about twice the size of what the census says it is. Now, even though it's a city, it is a very safe city. It's one of the safest places to live in the country. That's why this mass shooting took so many people off guard. There are places around Virginia Beach that have a much higher crime rate, like Norfolk, Newport News, Portsmouth, Hampton. But Virginia Beach has a very low crime rate, especially for the size city that it is. It's a young city. The average age is way below what the national average is. And it is a great place to grow up or to raise a family. There are a lot of family-friendly things to do besides the beach, things that go on in the city once you get away from the ocean front and all the tourists. One of those, I encourage everybody to look up online because it's pretty cool, is Mount Trashmore. And Mount Trashmore was actually a city dump way back. And they turned it into a park. They covered it up and they turned it into a park, and it is an awesome park. An awesome place to take your family for a day of fun. Lots of people go there and walk and bike ride and jog and fly kites and fly drones and all kinds of things. A place you could picnic. There is a great big huge playground for the kids, and instead of having mulch, it's like rubberized the footing, I guess you could call it, underneath the swings and the monkey bars and all of that stuff is rubberized, and it's like got springs underneath of it, so when you walk across it you kind of bounce, kind of like the floor for gymnastics, for the floor routine, the floor exercise. It's kind of like that. It's really kind of cool. It holds the oldest surfing championship in the continental United States. If you discount Hawaii as the oldest surfing contest. There are all kinds of things that go on down at the oceanfront all summer long, all winter long as well. In the summertime, every night they close off some of the streets that enter onto the strip, and there's live entertainment all up and down the strip for free. There's live music for free, all kinds of things down there. There's a Christmas parade down on the strip. Outside of town, believe it or not, there's still a lot of farming that goes on in Virginia Beach. And part of Virginia Beach that's called Pungo has a strawberry festival, and they have a parade and have all kinds of things going on, kind of like a county fair kind of thing that goes on. They've got great schools. A bunch of celebrities actually were born or raised in Virginia Beach. Currently, my favorite person, outside of family members and my friends that are from Virginia Beach, is Pharrell Williams. And it's not just because of his music. It's because, to be honest with you, he gives back. He calls Virginia Beach home. He says that that's where he's from. He's very proud of it. He does things like he goes back to his old high school. And yes, I know I'm on a long straight road, but it's been a long time since I've been down this road, so I'd forgotten how straight it was, and it really sucks with a brand new tire. Anyway, Pharrell Williams goes back to the high school he graduated from and talks to the high school all the time. He puts on music festivals in Virginia Beach. He's working, I don't know what the status is of it right now, but he's working with developers to develop an area of Virginia Beach down by the ocean front that was torn down, that was called the Dome because there was this big old dome that they had to tear down because it was full of asbestos. But that was torn down, and he's working with developers to try to build something else like that where you can have live music, local acts and so forth down there. And with no fanfare at all, he showed up back home in Virginia Beach to visit the Virginia Beach Memorial for the shooting victims. Didn't publicize it, hasn't publicized it since. But went home to lend his support to the Virginia Beach Strong movement, I guess you could call it. So like I said, that's what makes him kind of like my favorite person from there. Not because of the music, which I don't have anything against his music. I love his music, especially Happy, the song Happy. Because there's no way you can hear that song and not be happy. But anyway, you know, I wanted to point out that what you see on the news, first of all, where that municipal complex is really out in the country. I mean, there's not really anything around that. And to dispel some of the rumors that may not have been dispelled yet, one of which was the guy that did these terrible acts was not fired. He technically wasn't even a former employee yet at the time. He had sent an email earlier that day resigning, and in the email specifically said how much he loved working for the city, because he was a city employee, how much he loved working for the city, but that he had to resign for personal reasons. We still don't know what actually happened that caused him to do what he did. You know, I mean, it's because of the fact that he died during a gun battle after shooting those people. We don't know what specifically what the hell happened. But it's also wanted to make sure everybody understood this is not some little town. This is a major city. It's got all of the things that major cities have. It has a lower crime rate than most big cities. It's very family friendly, including the oceanfront. I complained in my video where I had told the story about living in Virginia Beach. I complained about the fact that there's no cruising on the Strip, which is an odd thing for a beach town. But they did that to make the Strip more family friendly for tourists and for locals alike. But I just felt like I had to say something and put it out there, really how heartbroken I am for what happened. I mean, it scared the bejesus out of me when I saw the news, because of the fact that I still have so many friends that live there. And this municipal complex is not just a courthouse, just like you think of as a courthouse. There are multiple buildings down there, and it does include like the jail, the city jail. But it's where you would go if you had to go to court, but it's where you would go to get a marriage license. It's where you would go if you needed a building permit, a burn permit, a permit to put in a swimming pool. All kinds of things that you need to deal with the city are there. You know, it's all in that place. So you have a lot of people that work there that, you know, I was worried somebody could be there that I knew that works there, because I have a lot of friends that do work in government. There could have been somebody there just picking up a permit, construction worker that's a friend of mine or whatever. Not to mention, like I said, Virginia Beach I call home. So it's like somebody shooting up my house. You know. But again, I don't know. I'm just rambling. I really don't know what to say, to be honest. Except to ask everybody out there that may see this, you know, to support the victims and the families, but also the residents. You know, I had much the same kind of thing happen with kind of scare when there was the bombing at the Boston Marathon, you know, on Patriots Day. Because even though I don't have friends and whatnot that I know of that live in Boston, it's a big New England thing, Patriots Day. So I knew that there were people that I knew that were down at the Boston Marathon just to watch, if not to compete, but to watch. And so that you know, I lived through that with a very heavy heart as well, and was very emotional about that. And I have my Boston Strong Tervis coffee cup and whatnot. But please, you know, if all it is to, you know, maybe say a little prayer for the people there, you know, in Virginia Beach, please, by all means, do. And if you really don't know about Virginia Beach, you know, do myself and maybe even yourself a favor and go online, go on YouTube, whatever. Check it out. You know, Google Virginia Beach. Take a look at it. Because like I said, it's not what people think of when they think of Virginia Beach. It's not just some little tourist trap kind of thing. You know, it's a city. You know, you don't have a lot of big high rises and whatnot in Virginia Beach. It's very, for the most part, very suburban looking and feeling. It used to, as a little history thing, Virginia Beach used to be a little town, and bordering that little town used to be a bunch of other little towns like Princess Anne and Kempsmore and so forth, and they all used to be, Virginia Beach included, all used to be part of Princess Anne County. And back in the late 50s, early 60s, I can't remember which, for some reason, 62 or 63 comes to mind. All those little towns got together and decided that what they wanted, instead of being a bunch of little towns in a county, they wanted to be one city and not in a county. And so they all banded together and it became one city, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out which name made the most sense to take, and they took the name of Virginia Beach. Not because it was the biggest town in the county, but because, let's face it, your city's going to do a whole lot better if it has beach in the name, because you're going to get the tourists and everything else. So they took the name of Virginia Beach. But because of that, all the little towns in Virginia Beach, all the little towns that made up Princess Anne County, even though they're now part of Virginia Beach, they all have the feel of being their own little town inside the city of Virginia Beach. Kind of like the different boroughs in New York City, or the different neighborhoods and whatnot, and forgive me because I forget what they're called. I want to say parishes in New Orleans. It's the same kind of thing. Every little community, there's separate communities within the city of Virginia Beach. And it makes it really great to live there, because you still have the traditional rivalries when it comes to like the high schools and whatnot that you had when they were separate towns. But when something good happens or something bad happens, everybody comes together as one city of Virginia Beach. They all come together for, let's say, Neptune Festival and the East Coast Surfing Championships and all of those kind of things, and the 4th of July fireworks and all the different things that happen at Mount Trashmore throughout the year. But again, like I said, you know, do yourself a favor. It's kind of cool. Check out Virginia Beach online, because it's, besides an awesome place to live, if you're looking for a place to live, it's a great place to go on vacation. I mean, my kids absolutely love it there. My wife loves going and visiting there. And I'll be honest, if my wife had the ability to transfer her job to Virginia Beach, we'd probably live there. But she doesn't have that as an option. So we're not there. But my kids, if you tell my kids, hey, you want to go on vacation to the beach? To them, the only beach on the planet is Virginia Beach. Even though I've taken them to the beach in Rhode Island, they still, when they think of beach, they think of Virginia Beach. When they think of going on vacation, they think of going to Virginia Beach. My wife is from Northeast Ohio. She's from Kent, Ohio, where Kent State University is. The first time I took her to Virginia Beach, she was absolutely shocked because the city of Virginia Beach in square mileage is larger than the county that my wife grew up in. And when I told her that Virginia Beach, when I told her Virginia Beach was a city, God, the wind on this road is a whole lot worse than it was on the other roads. And when that truck went by, man, I thought it was going to blow me off the damn road. Even though I told her it was a city, not a small town, you know, she still had this idea, yeah, okay, it's a city, maybe it's got 40,000 people in it. It's, you know, it's not a city. So she was surprised at that. But the biggest surprise to her was riding around in Virginia Beach. I had told her that there were farms in Virginia Beach and people owned horses in Virginia Beach, and she didn't. I don't really think she really believed me. I think it was one of those, yeah, Matt, whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. But there's some boarding stables in Virginia Beach that are much larger than any of the ones that we have around here, and we're definitely out in the country here, as you all have seen many times on my videos. So she was quite shocked at that, and shocked at how big some of the row crop farms were in Virginia Beach. You know, you just don't expect it, that all of a sudden you're riding along and it's, you know, suburban sprawl a couple of miles from the ocean front, and then all of a sudden there's corn growing or a great big huge hayfield, and then oh my God, look over here, here's a boarding stable with maybe 200 horses. You know, she just wasn't prepared for that. But you know, and again, I'm rambling, and I know I am. But anyway, I'm gonna find an ending spot here. I just, again, I hope everybody says a little prayer for the victims of the shootings, their families, and just the citizens of Virginia Beach. And if you've never been there, please, you know, take a look. Go online, check it out. Check out the city and all the things that there is. It's more than just a beach town. It is in the Guinness Book of World Records as having, speaking of the beach, it's having the largest pleasure beach in the world. And not only is it on the Atlantic Ocean, but it also butts up on the Chesapeake Bay. So you have awesome seafood there, everything from fresh oysters. One of my favorite things in the world to eat are raw oysters out of the bay there, or out of the Lynnhaven River. You have Chesapeake Bay crabs that you can get there. All kinds of seafood that you can get there. It's fresh, like right off the boat fresh. Lots of great restaurants. If you do have a chance to go to Virginia Beach, try to talk to some of the locals. Don't be afraid to venture away from the ocean front. It's very easy to get around in Virginia Beach. It's pretty much a grid, with the roads running east, west, north, south. So taking Virginia Beach Boulevard away from the ocean front, you get into areas where the locals live and work and eat. General Booth Boulevard, same thing. If you go there, you want to go down Oceana Boulevard, and there's some places you can pull off and you can watch the Navy jets doing touch and goes, you know, or just flat out taking off there. I'll lose my hat from the wind. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff to see and do. You're not very far away from Colonial Williamsburg. It's about a 45-minute drive to Colonial Williamsburg and all the things that Williamsburg has history-wise, along with Jamestown and Yorktown. You know, Jamestown being the oldest permanent English settlement in the United States. And for all of those of you that are in, like, Florida, yes, I know St. Augustine is the largest permanent European settlement, but it was Spanish, not English. Nothing against the Spanish. My grandfather's last name was Gutierrez. He was from Spain. But the oldest English settlement was in Jamestown, Virginia, dating back to 1607. Yorktown was pretty much the end of the Revolutionary War. I mean, it didn't officially end there, but that's where Washington defeated Cornwallis, along with the French fleet. You know, we got help from the French fleet in defeating Cornwallis. We pinned them between Washington's troops and the Atlantic Ocean there. And you have Busch Gardens, the old country, in Williamsburg as well. So there's a lot to see and do. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. I hope you've enjoyed my rambling. I hope you do say a prayer for the people of Virginia Beach. And as always, if you do like what you see, make sure you click the like and subscribe button and punch that bell so you get notifications whenever I upload any new content. And I'm going to sign it up here. I'm going to head into the gas station, get myself a Monster to recaffeinate myself. I hope everybody has a great day, and I hope to see you again here on YouTube soon.